Hey everybody, this is Marshall here. I'm going to do another lesson. This was about really basic soloing. I mean, just how to sound good, competent while you're taking a solo over some very simple major chords. Okay, now typically we're going to be talking about playing over chords like your open position chords, right? Right. So D, A, G, all these guys. E major, B minor, all those. Okay, so what we're going to do is to play a solo over these. Now scales, you're going to need a lot. I mean, that gets into a lot of hard work to be able to play scales. You're probably going to want to try and play some fast, which is a whole nother ball of wax. It's really tough. So what we're going to do here is just make melodies, nice melodies, and just using what we know here, just move it up an octave. Just move this. These are the same notes. So you use that. That's why you use this guitar, by the way, for lessons. So we don't have any problem with frets. Where frets are. So look, we have the same thing. See the same red, red, and red. 3 octave higher. Okay. Sorry, my bad. So it's the same thing. So if you have like a and be sure to use it, like if you're playing a sus chord, use that up here, go like, and just maybe slide up a whole step, or then use your ear, but keep the basic framework of what you're working on is the chord, the notes. See, it's the same chord. Okay. Now, lots of great players have done this trick and use it all the time. Like on the first Van Halen album, Eddie Van Halen did. And so he on the solo, he was playing over B major. So he just played right over the solo like this. I mean, right over these chords. So he did the same thing. Great player like Eddie Van Halen, and also somebody else who's maybe a little bit more advanced in certain ways, like Eric Johnson. He took a power chord, just a regular old. He's playing this part's on A, so he just went. So he moved his power chord up to the 12th fret, right? Same thing, power chord, same notes, just an octave higher. Okay. So this is the start of the Cliffs of Dover solo. How nice does that sound? And then just a nice simple blues lick. And Eric Johnson has particularly good phrasing. He's one of the best phrasing musicians you'll ever hear, and that's why his music is near timeless. But he also does it further down the solo to give a little bit more, some nice colors to the key, because this is all in pretty much G major. So what does he do? He goes. He implies the 5 chord, this is D7. This is a little bit more advanced. So he's playing that up here. So he's playing D7 up here. And so then he also, later on in the solo, he also implies D over or F sharp. Right? There's your D, and it's over an F sharp in the bass. And another thing, if you're going to learn from somebody on YouTube, make sure they themselves really can play. we take it for granted, you know, in this day and age, you know, God, if they're teaching, they probably know what they're doing. Not necessarily. And so, I mean, it's like, why listen to somebody who doesn't who hasn't made any, you know, inroads into musicality themselves? So I'm just, you know, that's what I would be thinking. Like I would try and learn from the best, like Steve Vai, you know. But and so I try and read their whatever they had to say in columns back in the day, you know, Guitar World, guitar player. And you can do that now on YouTube, so you can go right straight to the source, kind of skip the middleman. Except don't skip me, please. I think I have something worthwhile to contribute after 30 years of playing this stuff. And so there's also Eric Johnson does this, and he's doing the same thing. So he's implying D major here, but he uses a pedal point. This is called a pedal point from classical music. And so what's happening here is, you know, it was doing the same thing, taking your C major chord, right? You know what your chord is, the 3rd fret, and moving it up here, and just using this part right here. You know, you can do that, no problem. So I just wanted to keep this lesson short and sweet. He also does, Eric Johnson, like, he also moves up an even higher octave. So he's doing D major again. Just D major, but he moved it up an octave and just arpeggiates it. Okay, so there's just some simple things you can do to take a nice sounding solo, because there are other people who tell you can play scales, but there's a lot of notes that sound bad when you get your scales right. A lot of them sound unconvincing. But if you play chords, stick to these chord tones, you're probably going to sound fairly pretty good, you know. And you can also approach them from a half step below. Like that's the last thing we'll talk about, like a G major chord. Like here's that chord, move up an octave. Here we go. It's right here. So we play with these notes over a solo over G major. So, but you can approach it from a half step below. See, I'm a half step below. It's pretty silly sounding, but you can also go above them and below them. So you can do stuff like that. You can approach them from above and below. Really cool. Django Reinhardt does that kind of thing a lot. Who else does it? I think Eric Johnson does mess with these things. Yngwie Malmsteen kind of does some of this. Anyway, so there's some things you can do with just basically moving your open chords, whatever or any chord really, even your some bar chords we were looking at. Moving up here and getting a nice solo phrase out of that. Okay? Catch you next time.